Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom. It's day 4 of our release, and I'm showcasing the new clear jar Halloween add-ons today. Those are pre-colored with some Copic markers that I'll have listed on my blog. And those are images, these little monsters, super cute, are from the stamp sets Monster Munchies and Roar that was released yesterday. I'm also using, for this stamp set, the mini tag dies. I'm using the little bread tag, Halloween signs, stylized rectangle dies, and the mason jar dies, all to make these two cards quickly. So that is a piece of paper tray ink shadow, smoky shadow cardstock cut at 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 for an A2 size vertical card base. I'm also using, Doodlebugs pattern papers. I used Booze and Bruce, the 6-inch one, October 31st, and Halloween Parade in the 12-inch. So now I'm going to be stamping my little sentiments on my bread tags using VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I'm just freehand stamping it because it's little. You'll notice that I'm working on a Stampin' Up pad. Just when I'm filming videos, I usually use a glass pad, my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios glass mat, but it kind of shines back at you guys, so I've been using a Stampin' Up pad when I'm filming. Just makes it easier. Although when I go crafting, when we used to do crops before this whole COVID thing, I used to always bring my Stampin' Up pad because it just made it easy cleanup, and just so you don't make a mess of the table where you're crafting. So there we are. So one of them is going to say Monster Poop, and the other one will be Goblin Eyes. And on the inside of my cards, I'll have something, some sort of Happy Halloween stamp set that I'll be using on the inside. I won't be showing you that today though. So there we go. Those are my two sentiments on my tags. So now I'm quickly blending some black soot distress ink along the edges of the jar. And, just to make it pop a little bit, from the background and stuff like that. There we are. And I'll do it to both. Now, if you're going to make one card, you might as well make two, right? So that's what I'm doing here. I figured, you have everything out. You can switch it up a little bit so they're both a little tiny bit different, but, same design. Just makes it quick. So there's my little eyeballs. That will be going with my eyeballs. And then there's the little candy corn going with the candy corns inside the jar. There we go. So I'm just, like I said, blending some ink on there, and Bob's your uncle will be done. And I'm adding a little bit of blended ink around that stylized rectangle die. That piece of paper actually came from Booze and Bruce, the 6-inch pad. It has little bottles, kind of, jarred, the little jars of Halloween stuff kind of, I thought went well sitting on there. Something fun. So there we go. So I'll add my stuff. So there is my card base, like I said. And I'm going to be adding my background piece with ATG tape. Now, when you're lining up these, you want to line up the squared corners with your background or with your card. It's hard to line up the rounded edge. So you want to line up your squared corners, and it just makes it easy. Although you line it up as good as you can do it, right? None of us are perfect, so we got to do what we got to do. So there we are. Of course, my ATG tape kind of didn't come down in the middle, so you always see all my mistakes on my videos, right? I try not to edit anything out like that because, it's good when everyone knows that everyone makes mistakes. So now I'm adding my, gluing my jars together. I'm using my Gina K Connect glue, and I'm just sticking down. That is representing the fabric that goes over a mason jar. And then I'll be adding the little shiny toppers on. Those I cut from, I think it's Recollections silver foil cardstock, but you can use any foil cardstock. A lot of companies make it. There we go. And I tend to weight down when I'm using liquid glue with die cuts. I'll put like a stamping block down. There we go. And you'll notice that my stamps are facing up so I don't mess it up. But I have done that in the past. I have put it face down and wrecked what I was working on. That's how I roll. What can I say? So there's my other stamp block. We'll let it dry. There we go. So now I'm going to be gluing my bread tags together. Whenever I'm stamping my sentiment onto, thinner weighted pattern paper or thinner weighted paper, I tend to cut it out again with a thicker piece, and I'll glue them together just to make it a little more sturdy, especially if you're planning on popping it up, just because, it's hard to pop dot something that is, like a thinner weight paper, because then it just kind of gets all wrinkly and crinkly, and you don't want that. So there we go. So there are my 2 jars. Now I'm going to be adding my images that I pre-colored. Now those markers will be listed on my blog. I used Copic markers, and you'll notice that there are some little white Jelly Roll highlights. Those are with a Secura number 10. There we go. So I'm just adding my my little candy corns in that jar. Now these are meant to actually go with the clear jar stamp set, and they work perfectly, but I thought, why not? We'll pull out this die, and how cute is that? You can use things in various different ways. So now I'm pulling out my Art Impressions Action Wobbles. Now I don't know if you've used these before, but the thicker part of it, that's the part that you stick to your image that you want to wobble around. You want to kind of balance it on it so it's, held up level. So yeah, use the thicker part with a thicker plastic. That is going to be sticking onto my little monsters. Like I said, you want to level it. Make sure that it's level before you stick it in place. And now the bottom part that just has the sticky part around the ring, that is the part that you're sticking down onto your card base. Okay, so there we are. So now I'm just adding the little 2 colored images. It'll look like they're holding them. So the little gray guy, he's going to get the little eyeball. And I'm using a Stampin' Up! Dimensional for that. How cute is that, eh? It's adorable. They're so cute. There we go. I'm just going to pop that in this one's hand. And then my other monster will hold my candy corn or my monster poop. Because, if you have an orange monster, wouldn't he poop orange? I don't know. In my magic world, it would poop little candy corns. That's what would happen. So there we go. So now those are my 2 images. So I'm going to get my card put together now. I'm using 3M foam tape to pop up my jar, just because that's a larger image. So you don't want to use up all your little dimensionals on that. You could, but I find it's just more economical, and you get better coverage using 3M foam tape. You don't want it to go through the mail and get any little dents or bends in it, which it would be kind of crappy, right? You want it to get to your recipient in good shape. At least I do. That's what I look for. There we go. So I'm going to add that to my background. Isn't that cute? And it's like super easy, not super difficult layouts. We want something quick and fast. You can easily remake these cards yourself. Now, all of my images, all my die cuts are always cut out with my Gemini machine. And all of my images, once they're colored, are cut out using my Brother Scan and Cut with a 0.4 border, just because I like that white edge. There we go. So now I'm sticking it down, and look how cute that is. The action, it wobbles and bobbles around. So there we are. Now I'm going to put that 3M foam tape on my other jar. And like I said, if you're making one card, you might as well make 2. It doesn't take very much more time, and you end up with 2 cards. And just if you're wondering what that squeaking is, that's my chair that I craft in. Of course, I've got ants in my pants. I can't sit still when I'm making this recording, so that's what those little squeaky noises are. There we go. You notice that I used a pair of Tim Holtz, tonic scissors to cut that foam tape because, it's got that anti-stick blade, which is pretty handy. So there is my little monster. He's happy. He's got an eyeball for himself. He looks too cute to be having an eyeball on his hand. But anyway, so I'm using hemtique twine now, and I'm quickly tying a couple of bows using my Bow Easy, because I always use a Bow Easy when I tie anything. And those are just a pair of Fiskars scissors that I keep for cutting ribbon or twine or whatever. It just keeps them sharp. And hide them from the family, right? So they don't wreck them. There we go. So there's my little bow. And I will be attaching it to my little bread tag sentiment there. And I'm using a glue dot for that. You'll notice I put it on the wrong tag at first. And you know, because I always leave these in for you to enjoy my little mistake. It's like, Leanne, don't do it. That's the wrong one. But oh well. Luckily it's a glue dot and you can pull it off if you're careful. There we go. It's supposed to be on the goblet. It's supposed to be on the monster poop tag, right? Because the orange, I'm going for an orange theme on that one. And I'm just going to pop that up using Stampin' Up! Dimensional also. And yeah, so these cards came together really quickly. You know, like I said, they don't all have to be, you know, rocket science or really hard technical cards. You know, it's fun to make those sometimes, but sometimes you just want to send some cute cards to your family or friends. You don't want to, you know, overthink it. There we go. So I'm just going to be tying, this is the green twine now. It's also from Hempteak. And luckily it kind of just matched what I was going for here. So it's kind of nice, right? When you have something in your stash that goes. There we go. So I'm going to be adding that to my tag with the glue dot also. And then I will pop that image up once I cut the tails here. I'll pop that up also on my jar. There we go. How cute is that? And I'll use my little Stampin' Up! Dimensional and pop it on to my jar. Isn't it cute? I just love these little cards. They're adorable. Look at, you gotta love the Action Wobbles. So now I'm going to add some Nouveau Crystal drops in Ebony Black. And I'm just going to add a few here and there. You know, I always tell you I put them in groups of 3 or odd numbers. I kind of go for a look where I'm straddling the image a bit. And, you know, it's kind of, I don't know. I love Nouveau Crystal drops, but then you probably know that if you've watched any of my videos. I'm a bit addicted to those Nouveau Crystal drops. I have a swatch piece of paper actually that I have all of them squeezed out on so I can choose, you know, the correct color for the card that I'm working on. It's always good to have swatches for everything. Saves you a lot of time and effort while you're looking for the right color. There we go. I'm just slapping it down on a, you know, on the bottle itself just to flatten them a little bit. And there we go. Now I'm going to add the same Nouveau Crystal drops to my second card. And then we will be done. Isn't that cute? I think these turned out really adorable. And like I said, super quick and easy. You don't have to, you know, go crazy making cards. You can just sit back and have some fun and do it with no stress. Because this is supposed to be stress-free. You're supposed to be enjoying the process. You know? There we go. So make sure to come on back. You know, tomorrow we'll be having the blog hop for the release, and all the design team is in rare form as always. And you'll get some great tips and pointers on how to use the new release. And how cute are these guys? They're just adorable. I think they turned out great. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with some new products. There we go. And we'll give it one last little wobble for fun. All right, we'll see you later, everyone. Bye.